Coming to you from Strings and Things Studio in Ventura, California, this is the Strings Unraveled podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah. How was your month?
It's been long.
Yeah. I feel like May has been so long.
May is 31 days. I know this intellectually, but
Yeah.
to me it is emotionally the longest month of the year.
Yeah.
Like, it just won't end. You're looking forward to school ending. I can't wait to not drive my kids to school in the morning.
Yeah.
And
The weather's been like weird transition-y and
yeah, but I love the weather we're having right now so much.
Rain in May.
It's probably what's keeping me okay during May is the rainy weather, and it's really been quite lovely as far as that goes, but it just won't end. It just goes on and on.
And here I am thinking, it went by so fast.
The year's going by really fast.
Because my youngest, my last child, is going to be graduating high school in a couple weeks.
Well, you're talking about the last 18 years.
In
going
my
by fast.
head, it's already June, and there's so many things we have to get done, and there's not enough time. And
I just keep thinking it's still May.
Yes. I'm sorry. 2 against 3.
Oh, no,
or 2 against 1. That math
but
checks.
we all agree. I like this rainy May. I know it's
Love
not
it.
just okay. We always get May gray, but at least we're getting something for the gray.
Yeah.
It's not just gray and ugly. We're getting rain.
Well, for a long time, for a few years running here, we have not had May gray, and that made May worse.
I'm like soaking in as much of the gloom as I can before it gets too hot.
Yep.
So I'm not
That's
complaining
unlike-
about the weather. It's just been weird.
I don't. And
It's the unpredictability of it too. It's like
it
one day
means
it's
I
sunny.
get to wear my sweaters longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay!
So
But
what are you
When
guys?
will May end?
Yeah, exactly. What are you guys working on?
I am making a blanket that comes from the Knitting Green book. I think it's a like many designers compilation kind of book. And it is a pattern by Ann Budd. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a blanket in there that is a little lacy edge and then a 2x2 mistake rib. Oh, it's by Ann Budd. But I think more than one designer contributed. But I know that this blanket is one of hers. And it's such an easy pattern. Odd number, end with a purl 1. Knit
That's
2,
pretty
purl
easy.
2.
It's got such a great squishy
Well,
texture.
I just had a class that I was
What's
really...
the edge? It's got an edging
It's just
too.
like a very simple lace edge.
Like a little.
Like a double decrease.
Scallopy
in
thing?
but
center
it almost
overs,
looks
yeah.
like it's also reversible because both sides
Yeah,
look great.
both sides look nice. I'm doing it in a hideous acrylic. Like a value, super duper pound of love kind of thing. It's
but
not
if you're
pound
going
of
to do
love.
a blanket,
Well, it's going to
you
live in
don't
my
want it to
living
be-
room,
yeah.
and the nature of this fabric is so cushy. So I just this week taught a class called Scarf Recipes for knits and pearls, and mostly they're knits, but I chose a bunch of patterns that are either 1 or 2 easy repeat rows, and mistake rib is the most luscious of them. All 4 of the patterns I used Stephanie and Pearl McPhee's 1 row scarf, and like a slip stitch rib that we had in that Misty Alpaca ruffly
Yep.
scarf. There's a cool 1 skein ruffle scarf from Misty Alpaca that the stitch patterns in. I called it a slip stitch rib. The stitch pattern from the Montana scarf, which I think that's a loop pattern. If you Google
I
Montana
think you
scarf,
talked about that
yeah,
an episode or two
well,
ago.
I love that stitch pattern, and that's what I was working on. Is I was making a fingering weight gray scarf, and the last one is something. It's so similar, but they all have this like distinct look. But anyway, the mistake rib is the most
Squishy.
the most voluminous, squishy of all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Stick, slip stitch, Montana.
Is it that 1 row?
No, I said that one already. 1 row, the slip stitch, the Montana.
We're looking at our samples right now. Is it the 3x3 thing? And then one
Well,
by
that's
one.
the Misty Alpaca one. Okay, why don't I name them in my hand?
No, this one.
One row. That's
Where you do-
Montana.
Oh, okay.
This is the slip stitch, and this is the mistake rib. I said them all. I just
Okay.
keep saying them, just
in
never
different
four
pieces.
at a time.
That was probably really painful to listen to.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, 2x2 mistake rib and bud blanket pattern. Very squishy, even in cheap, gross alpaca alpaca.
Oh my god.
I don't know
I mean,
you.
We're not yarn
cheap-
snobs around here.
cheap, gross acrylic.
They both start with
It was
A,
a
but they're
Freudian
opposite.
slip. I really wish I was working in double strand worsted weight alpaca.
That would be a very warm blanket.
I would never share it with anyone.
Yeah.
No one else would be allowed to
Not
touch
even
it.
It's
a
like I have
family.
this
It
big.
would go in a locked cabinet, and then I would take it out and snuggle, and then
And
it
then
would
you
have
put
to
it
go
away.
back and lock.
Because it'd be way too hot.
I have this fuzzy blanket that I bought for. Well, technically, my sister and I bought them for each other for Christmas, but they're the same thing. And
They're
it's this
more
like,
meaningful that
yeah,
way.
it's this super super soft faux fur,
Oh.
like heavy, it's just so cozy. And my husband will steal any blanket that's not his. And every time I'm
Whoa.
like, this is mine, now it's his. And it's like, he
That's
knows
marriage.
I'm very serious about that one. I'm like, this is my blanket. When I got it, you are not allowed to use it. And like, if I'm not home, you can use it, you know. But
You'll never know.
exactly. But it's like, give
But
me
when I
back
walk
my
in the
blanket.
door- when I walk in the door, it better not be on your
Well,
body.
you can give it over and say, I was warming it for
Oh
you.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I would
'cause
buy
there's
that.
nothing like sometimes other people's body warmth is like so lovely and
Yeah.
comforting when you come in after them, and then other times it's very gross.
One of the like contentions of our marriage is he'll sit on our bed and watch like a movie, which is fine, but he always sits on my side of the bed right before bedtime. So when I get in my bed, it's always all warm from his
hot.
butt, and I'm like, sit on your side of the bed.
I wonder if it's butt body heat. That is the gross part.
Probably.
That's the grossest part.
Because like if my husband gets up in the morning before me and his side of the bed is still
Oh,
a little
yeah.
cozy.
That's upper body
nice.
warmth, and that's nice.
Well, part of it's butt warm.
Yeah, but your butt
Yeah,
is in the
but-
same spot. His butt is where my head goes when he's sitting in bed.
But so like think of that in
That's
like the
gross.
middle of June.
Yeah,
That sucks.
I'm like, get out of
But
my spot.
Is it so annoying when it's in January?
I mean, I still don't like it. I don't like getting into a hot
I'm
bed.
territorial. My
Anyway.
husband knows, stay on your side.
If my toes are warm, the rest of the bed can be
Yeah.
cool and crisp.
Yeah.
See, if my toes are warm, I'm too hot.
Oh, no.
I sleep all year long with my toes out. So in the winter, it can be cold and I'll be hibernating with my head covered, but I'll still have a foot sticking out. I'm like a clam, you know, with a little foot.
With your foot.
Nice. I'm about to get back into like a finishing mode because I was starting a lot of
Nice.
things, and I need to remember that I'm on a yarn diet, which I've been pretty good. Like I haven't been buying as much as if I hadn't been on a yarn diet, supposedly.
Oh yeah, in the last year I've started using it so much more. I order so much less, and I'm on. Of course, that's because I'm spending that on fabric.
Well, that's what I realized is like I might be
You
buying
just
less yarn,
cheat.
but I'm definitely buying a lot of fabric.
I am
lately.
noticing that my yarn stash is getting a lot smaller because back
Mine
in the day
hasn't
I
gotten
could.
smaller yet.
Mine's gotten smaller because I used to be able to just take things home from Anacapa whenever I wanted.
Oh yeah.
And now I just have to actually use things that are in my stash.
Mhm. Shopping from the stash is like very nice though.
Yeah. When you find the perfect thing, you're like,
yeah.
this is going to be perfect.
So Tuesday morning is a surprisingly good place to find some hidden jewels of yarn. They don't have like a very high or quick turnover, but I picked up this lace weight metallic yarn that had teeny tiny little sequins, and it's on the edge of a novelty yarn. It's definitely
Depends on how you
ideally-
play it. You can make
yeah.
it look classier.
So I'll bring it around maybe next time. But I have some red worsted weight wool, and I'm doing like an improvised crescent shape shawl where 2 rows are of this lace weight metallic, and then kind of a nice cushy wool for 2 rows. And I'm increasing with like 10 stitches on 1 row and then 4 on the next, so it's working out like average 7 for 4, or you know, it's 14 increases for 4 rows, so it should be very like round.
Yeah.
Like I think it's gonna be more than crescent, but we'll see. I'm improvising.
That sounds fun.
So that's it, and then I'm still working on my sweaters crate. I got 2 crates going. Might be starting a 3rd one because my son said he would
Remind
wear
me,
one.
what's a crate?
It's
The stripy, all different directions.
Oh, that really cool thing.
I thought I'd be clever and make the sleeves first, but because the way the increments it's made in, you could build the sleeves off of the armhole as much as you could build the body off of where the body's supposed to go. But I can't judge the length of the sleeve without the body. So perhaps the designer is the clever one. And
sometimes you come up with a good workaround. Sometimes you're like, oh, they did that for a reason.
Maybe she even went down that path.
Right.
Like,
I did a Carol Feller really cool pattern. You start in the center back, and it is like side to side till it gets to the side to your actual side, and then it does short rows and starts going bottom up. Ooh, it's really cool.
That sounds very cool.
It's got, but you know how I love German short rows over wrap and turns any day of the week, and I thought it was super clever to substitute what she clearly, because she has both. There's times when you need to do a wrap and turn, and there's times when you need to do a German short row. And when I taught it as a class, I taught it as a cautionary tale. Always pay attention. Maybe the designer knows what they need, because that wrap and turn, because you don't pick up the wrap, it created a really nice faux seam along the short rowed sleeves.
Well, that is
which
on
mine
point.
did not have, and mine didn't look quite as nice as it could have looked.
That's
my
on
students
point.
were better.
Yeah, that's totally on point, because Krait, Krait by Amelia Jensen. I was thinking I was clever, and I didn't read the whole sentence, and I was like, "Oh, knit until 6, and then do your short row." I'll just do a German at 7 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She already was making plans. It was German short rows.
She already took that stitch into account.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, aren't I clever? So I really should just trust her, because this is a super cool pattern. The way it all comes together, and it's very well thought out.
It is very clever.
There was only one place that I feel like it's lacking, and I wonder if there's a translation thing. But I'm gonna attack it again and see if I was misreading there as well. But that's what I'm working on.
Thank you for assuming that it wasn't the designer's error.
Yeah.
What are you working on, Karin?
I'm working on a design project. Since we love the Yarn Over truck, they come every so often for us and hang out with us, and so they have a yarn club that's going to be starting up this summer, and it goes for 1 year, and you get yarn like every other month, and for that. It's going to be based on things that make Meredy happy. And so I'm doing this cowl in a really cool reversible stitch. It's from one of my favorite all-time stitch dictionary type books called Reversible Knitting by Lynn Barr.
That's a great book.
I love that book. I have designed so many wonderful things by it. Anyway, so I can't say what it's going to be, but it's going to be really awesome. And actually, all 3 of us are going to be contributing, but since I'm in the first
Karin
month,
bravely
I got to get
took
going.
the first slot.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I was like, give me. My slot's
then-
not until like 2020.
then
I was like, I'll take next January or something.
Katie, you took the last spot.
Yep.
I was thinking on that one.
Hey,
I have a good middle spot. I'm very excited.
if she would have let us take more than one, I had my eye on the last spot, but we can't be greedy. One's
I
enough.
just wanted to be helpful. I don't want to be greedy.
I want to be greedy. I love doing stuff with Meredy. Anyway,
What yarn are you using?
so the entire thing is going to be done with Apple Tree Knits yarn, and the whole thing is every other month you get a knit pattern and a crochet pattern to go with your yarn, and you can do that pattern or one of those patterns, or you can choose to do whatever you want with your yarn, but it's a gradient. This one is plush fingering in a special dyed color just for the Yarn Over truck, and it's going to be pretty awesome. And I will say it's a gradient. It's a cake that naturally transitions from one shade to another, and it's a pretty hefty at 560 yards.
Wow,
but
that's
it's
a lot of yardage.
But it's like 113 grams, not 100. That little extra lets you have a lot more yarn.
Well, one of our knitters is making. She just showed me her hitchhiker on Tuesday.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
Linda's.
Like,
It's so pretty.
That was a
or probably
hitchhiker?
cream into
It's
black.
like black to white. Yeah,
And it's so elegant. It's
Yeah.
really pretty.
and that yarn feels really nice too. It's very soft.
It feels like there's cashmere in it, but it's just 100% superwash merino. It's that merino that's
Nice.
so all plush and wonderful. Other than that, I'm doing a crochet cowl.
Is that your pattern?
Yeah, I'm reworking my San Simeon cowl pattern. So if you're out there and you want to look it up, go to Ravelry. It's going to be great.
It's really flippin' adorable.
It looks like that one looks like Gryffindor.
Oh, I can see that. I can see it. It's very Griffin because I'm using it was one of the last yarn clubs that they did based on Marvel, and this was Iron Man colorway with sparkles, with coppery colored sparkles in it. It's pretty. I don't know what yarn company this base is, and then I'm pairing it with Malabrigo sock in this really golden ochre. What's it called? Some color called, I don't know.
Might just
the
be
name.
ochre.
Ochre. There you go. Not ogre, but ochre. And then one of my new favorite type of worsted weight. It's all plushy. It's by Birch Hollow Fibers. Cozy hand-dyed yarn with a love of fiber and color. It's really, really beautiful and squishy. And this one's called Into the Woods. I think I was going to do something else with it, but I'm working it into Ravenhill, which is a nice worsted weight type of shawl with what's this thing with tassels now on the end? You don't do fringe, but this tassel.
Well, I don't do fringe.
This is not a fringe, but the tassel
like
actually
the
looks
tassels.
really, really nice.
I like the tassels,
It's not
but
overdone.
I'm concerned about me and tassels. That like
Catching on something?
it's for the same reason I don't really do fringe. Two things. One, eats a lot of yarn.
Yeah.
Two, how does it wear and tear, and how
Right.
will I behave with it? Will it start to look raggedy
If
soon?
I hand wash it, which I would do all my knits, it should be okay.
The beauty of a tassel is you could take it off relatively easily.
Yes.
Fringe is more of a commitment to take off.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think for the tassels, I like the idea of removable tassels.
How would you make it removable?
I would probably put it on a little locking ring hook, like one of those.
Oh.
I could put like one of those rings that that clip like for key rings. They kind of lock
Yeah.
onto each other or
Like
not.
a tiny little clip. Or like a
Mhm.
little lobster
It
clamp
gives
or
me a
something.
chance
Stitch
to
pattern repeats.
yeah. So it gives me a chance to maybe I feel like tassels today, maybe I don't. I saw a really cute hat that instead of a pom pom they put a tassel.
I've seen that. I like.
Depends
it there,
on the
actually.
shape of the hat. I think pixie style hats work a little better with a tassel, but that's just me. Anyway, that's why I'm working, because it's the perpetual working on samples for the next set of classes.
Yep. There's always that to look
There's
forward
always
to.
that.
Anywho,
That's
I
what I'm
think I've
working on.
unlocked 2 more sample-free classes.
nice. That's pretty smart.
Stuff you already have samples for? Oh, because
Nope.
what?
She did the
Stay
locking
tuned.
her lips. She's not
Oh,
going to tell
sorry.
us.
that was for these 2.
Yeah.
Well, dream,
Tell us your secrets.
Dream
So-
sweater
Oh, yeah.
workshop is pretty, or I mean, sample free, or I show them things I've made, and I have 2 other ideas.
I like it.
Stay tuned for the next class schedule, friends,
Woohoo.
friends and family.
Cool. I am working on 3 different sweaters.
Woo!
One of them I really wish I was working on right now is the Lovable sweater. And that is by Sylvia something. Let me look up her name. I should have had it ready. But it's a all lace
I saw your
pullover. Sylvia McFadden, the
Oh.
Lovable sweater. It's an all lace pullover in like a chunky-ish or like heavy worsted yarn I'm using.
That's a nice faster
What's that yarn
sweater.
called? Cascade Eagle.
What is that yarn?
Yeah, you
called?
know that one yarn.
You know that.
And it is like extremely satisfying to work on. I like lace anyway.
Yes.
I find lace very satisfying, but like in the round in a sweater, especially now that I'm in the body, it's just like straight down tube with lace. It's like real, and it's going really fast. Like I got to the sleeve because it's top down. I got to the sleeve separation. I was like, "Are you sure I'm there already?" Like
Yeah.
normally that takes me forever.
What size needles are you working on?
I think 8s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been very lovable. I very much enjoyed the experience, but then I had to put it on hold because I signed up for a test knit, which I'm also enjoying. Ooh. But I wish I could go back to my other sweater.
Looks good.
So this is for the same designer who designed the V-back tee that I also test knitted last year, I guess it was. This is called the Scrappy V, and it's Jamie Hoffman is her name, the designer. And it's sort of like the sister to the V-back tee. It's a similar shape, but it's designed to use up your bits and pieces and scraps of yarn. And somebody who I think if it's the person I'm thinking of, I know that she listens to the podcast. So if you donated a large bag of Koigu scraps to our yarn stash swap we did in January, I'm making a sweater out of your yarn because I stole it out of the stash swap.
Oh, awesome.
The point was to go to other good homes.
It is going to be a lovely sweater.
Well, it looks great.
And there were like 500 stitches or something before I could separate off my sleeves, and it was like the never-ending rounds. But I finally separated.
It's the opposite of your
exactly. It's like I was loving the lovable sweater because it was like so satisfying and fast, and this one is fingering weight, which is like just a little sloggy. But that's what I'm currently like trying to get through because her pattern is coming out in like 3 weeks, so I'm trying to be a good tester to get it done in time. I'm through the important part, and then the last one I have is the dogwood sweater, which I'm teaching as a class, so I'm making it along with my students because I was a bad teacher and didn't have my sample done before class.
Which you should know is rare for her. It's common for me, but rare for her.
You know how to do all the things you have to teach them.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I'm making it along with them, and that is a top-down colorwork yoke. And that's also on like size 8 needles, so it's going to go relatively quickly, but I just started that on Monday with my students, so I technically have 3 sweaters that I'm currently working on. Other than that, I'm not really working on a whole lot else.
Well, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, right in the last few weeks, all I have worked on is the Scrappy V, because it's a lot of knitting, but
it looks really good.
Thank you. It's like random stripes, so I'm just picking a yarn and knitting some rows and switching to a different color.
I like it.
Anybody finish anything cool since last month?
Let me tell you about the things I finished this month. They're mostly sewing things. I'm gonna get real here.
Uh-oh.
And again, you're gonna hear me rant about things I've ranted about. So my son is in a school play. It's Mary Poppins. We saw it last night. It was delightful.
Yeah.
There are so many talented children, including, just so many talented children. We're very partial to the young man who played the lead because he's one of my son's friends, and we just love him, and he is very, very talented. So it was fun, and it paid off all the time I put in. So I got tapped to make a Mary Poppins bag. I was very, very, very happy that I got to make the Mary Poppins bag because there are 3 great bags in cinema. There might be a 4th. My mom told me about a Veronica Lake movie where she's an alien and she lands on Earth and she has a purse where she like whispers into the purse and it gives her exactly what she needs to fit in on Earth. Like she needs a hairbrush and it gives her a hairbrush. She needs a gown. Out she pulls a gown.
That's awesome.
So I have to find this if anyone knows what Veronica Lake movie this is, even though I could solve this in one IMDb search.
Do you want me to Google it?
I just haven't yet. I mean, if someone wants to while I'm talking.
I'll Google it.
One of us.
Well, anyone out there, because my mom couldn't think of it and she never Googles her IMDb's.
She just lives without knowledge.
If she lives with the knowledge she already has acquired, which is a lot. So the 3 great bags of cinema are number 1, Mary Poppins. Number 2, the bag that Michelle Pfeiffer carries in One Fine Day, which is not a movie I like very much, but I love that she solves every problem in the movie with what she pulls out of her purse. And it's a pretty good looking, like, I don't know what style this would be. It's like a big leather tote bag, but kind of a big leather tote bag if I remember right. Number 3, of course, is Hermione's bag of holding. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I am invited to make the best bag in all of cinema. This is exciting.
Yeah.
So there might have been a little bit of diplomacy needed to explain, to get my plan across that I would like to put a zipper in the bottom of the bag for the bag to magically open and, magically accommodate
Things
a
larger
headstand, a huge plant, a hat stand, a huge plant, and then all the other wonderful things that are in Mary Poppins' bag. So I won, and I put the zipper in, and it appeared like it would work.
Mm-hmm.
There was a quote from the email in the diplomacy with the teacher. I can't seem to understand how a zipper would work.
What?
So I'd like to report.
Obvious.
I'd like to report.
Did it work?
They didn't seem to understand how a zipper might work. I think what I've reasoned out and how I'm staying sane is that they actually had trouble figuring out how to make the trick table. And so they rigged something out of the ball cart.
That's classic kids school.
Put a black drape over it and the bag, and they hid the person handing her things that way. And so I'm going to blame on lack of trick table, not lack of zipper understanding.
Okay, good. You pull on the little thing that you hold on to and it opens.
The was that the teacher was really emphatic that it be important that the bag stand up on its own, and I put a heavy buckram in there.
Yeah.
And it totally stood up on its own. If you look at my Instagram, Anland22, there are many images of it standing on its own. Mm-hmm. Let the record show.
I saw it.
Thank you. Okay. So those two things were disappointing. And it would have probably taken me 2 hours to make this bag because it's not that complicated of a bag structure if I had not had to put a zipper in or function with buckram as the lining. Okay, I'm done with that. Okay, Mary Poppins bag finished. It was delightful. I can't wait to get it back because it's mine forever. The other thing I made was 2 British Bobby costumes for 2 boys I love, my own son and one of his best friends. And they shared a line. Madam, we found this man, and then Dante's was wandering in the park. I think last night when we went out to celebrate that they were arguing about how to lock each other in the bathroom so that they could just say the line themselves. But they were very entertaining. They were totally hilarious. Every time they were on stage, they were shuffling all of the park goers out of the park. And it was really funny.
Rolled to heart.
Yes. So I made 2 really cute little British Bobby costumes, and they're real cute. And then I've been sewing clothing for myself. So I made some really cute, quick tops from New Look. It's a simple New Look pattern that's like a drop sleeve, 2 pattern pieces, bias binding around the neck, and pants that are the same pants pattern I'm using for my Perfect Fit pants. It's a Palmer
It's going to
plush
be a great
pant.
class.
Should be.
Maybe we could do more.
And you could
like
probably
that
hear
in the
this before the class time, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, actually.
So I love my Perfect Fit pants that are the Palmer plush McCall's pattern.
Wow, you said that very clearly without stumbling. That was pretty impressive.
So I've been sewing a lot, so I have not really been knitting. So then I lost my momentum on my knitting.
Ooh, sad.
It is sad.
I can't figure out what that movie is.
It's okay. It's going to take more than one quick Google, I think.
I can't find an alien. I did find a movie where she was a witch.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Maybe.
That makes more sense.
It's called I Married a Witch.
Oh, that sounds right. Because the way she was describing it, my mom, it sounded like the plot of I Married an Alien. Or My Stepmom's an Alien.
Right.
It sounded kind of like that.
Well, there you go.
Thanks. I'll look for it. I wonder where it's streaming.
That's a great question.
That's good.
So I finished a lot of sewing.
Mm-hmm. Are you still doing the make-along thing on Instagram? I don't remember what it's called.
It's Sew Your View.
Yes.
I'm purchasing patterns, and I still have a week to finish May's. May is a really cute simplicity shirt dress. I'm not, as shirt dresses go, it's not my favorite shape because I am always wary of something that buttons down the front to make sure it's not gaping or too bag-like. So because I was sewing for the play, I have not had time to really evaluate the sizing on this new Sew Your View.
Yeah.
So I'm still buying the patterns.
All right.
And I actually bought the fabric.
Well,
It just won't be this one.
wouldn't it be nice
Well-
if it just made itself sometimes?
Oh, wouldn't it? April, I bought fabric to make. There are 2 views in April, and I like them both, and I bought fabric to make them. So I'm stealing one of April's fabrics to make May's.
You're just repurposing it.
In preparation for Me Made May, I was sewing a lot of garments too. Since our last episode, I made. I don't know if I had finished it by the last episode, but I've made 3 Springfield tops by the Patterns by Cashmerette. I have one.
Is that one of the knit?
That's
knit tops?
no, that's this one
This-
that I'm wearing.
Very cute tank top.
It's got like a little split on the side. It just fits nicely. It's got seams in the back that sort of curve in, and it's got bust darts, so it fits nice. I made one in chambray, one in linen.
I like the linen one.
I do like the linen one, and then this is just quilting cotton that I found on sale that I really liked.
Katie made her Essex linen top come true.
I made the first one and it was a complete fail.
Oh,
Then I made the second one and it worked just fine.
okay.
Make,
Dreams take some time.
make sure you pre-wash your Essex linen because it changes.
Oh, okay.
Take that advice to heart.
Yes, because
and
my
big
first
dream.
one came out of the washing machine in a ragged mess, and it was like, ooh, that
And that's not how
was
linen.
bad.
That's not what you want from.
it
a
was
linen
bad.
top.
So yeah, the second one was a complete success because I learned from my first one. Also, you have to be sure that you finish every single seam allowance because it wants to just fall apart.
You know, I made a couple of rayon tops that also shrank a little and shredded. And so, because my serger is up and running and there's really no excuse for not
Exactly.
taking the time, I am taking the time to finish all of
I
my
thought
edges.
it'll be fine, you know. So I did it because I was kind of in a hurry and I wanted to see if I could get it done. And then the second one, I serged everything first, and then I sewed it all together.
Well, that's back to what are you working on? Sorry to skip back,
That's
but
okay.
I have a really fun button-down shirt cut out that I can't wait to get to, but I need to cut my interfacing and serge everything because I want a well-fitting button-down top.
That's a
And,
thing
you
that
know,
can be
working in an
attainable.
office, yeah, and
Is
I
it
think this can be a
possible
winner.
to have a button down that doesn't gape
Well,
or
you know, there's a-
clearly stretch where the button is?
Well, button positioning is number 1.
yeah.
Number 2 is you can put a hook and eye right there, or a snap. Number 3 is this is a McCall's pattern. I'd have to get up and go look at the number, but it's a threads McCall's pattern. No, it's a threads simplicity pattern. I'm sorry.
I wonder when I'm going to get my...
It's gonna take forever. So it has a yoke in the back and the front, and the front yoke. There's a lot of front fabric, and so you gather into the yoke coming over the front shoulder, and so there's like plenty of fabric without darts.
Without
And
having,
so-
so it doesn't need to...
Yeah, there's plenty of positive ease in the right place. I think we'll see when I make it.
We'll see.
Cashmerette has a pattern called the Harrison shirt, which you just reminded me of. Is they advertise it as it won't gap,
Oh,
and I'm like,
Ah.
okay. The answer to your prayer is a fitted button-down shirt that doesn't gap over curves. I don't
Does
know
it
what
look
their
like
answer
it
is.
has- Oh well, there it has princess seams, which that's going to help a lot.
That's the view.
Oh, it's beautiful. It has it kind of has like a double princess seam.
I haven't
That's
made
pretty
it, but
damn
it's
cool.
very cute.
I
So there
really
you go.
like it. Yeah, that could be a future one. But I mean, I make a lot of shirts because that's what I make for Kevin. So I know I can execute this well. But I only had time to cut it out.
I did make my jeans.
They are so cute.
They're okay. They fit great for the first half hour I have them on, and then they're too big. Still, I chose too big of a size because I didn't take into account how much ease jeans should have, negative ease jeans should have. Because I thought I measured and I picked one that was like my measurements pretty closely, and I knew it was too big of a size because from their patterns and from what I buy, I'm not usually, I don't remember what size it was, but it was like one size up.
Okay.
And I was like, well, it says that it's going to fit, and it's too big. So when I tried them on, when I was making them, I had to take in the sides like a couple inches on the sides.
Wow.
So if I make them again, I'll make the next size down, and I'll probably still take them in at the waist, I would guess a little bit. Also, my problem with pants always is that if they fit me in my waist and hips, if they're supposed to be skinny jeans, they're always baggy around my ankles, always. So I think for someone with my size hip and waist, they're designed for a more curvy calf, which apparently I don't have, because they're like ready to wear jeans are always too baggy at the ankle for me.
I'll say, when you posted the picture, because you did the legs regularly, and they were just like straight leg, and normally if it was me, I'd be like, well, that'll be fine, and I just would have lived with it. But then you showed, you did like basted what it would take in. It looked so much better. It wasn't that it looked bad, but it looked well fitting.
Yeah, and it's like, exciting to know that I can make a pair of pants that fits. And I made one, and now I know how to do the second one. I just haven't done it yet because it was a lot of work to make the one.
It takes a lot of like emotional momentum to get ready for jeans.
It does. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
But Karin, that tissue fit you so beautifully. Like,
I'm afraid.
if you guys could see my
so
gestures.
Afraid.
What are you afraid of?
Karin, your husband
Freaks me out.
would like to see you in those jeans.
Whoa.
And they would be comfortable.
So make
Your
them.
husband would like to see you in those jeans.
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
I'm accepting.
I don't know if he's an ass.
I will say when I... The guy told me he was, and I was surprised.
Your husband would like to see you in those jeans.
I got plenty of
could
it.
see you in the tissue. And when we did the tissue fitting of a jeans pattern, that was very challenging. And you did all of that complicated.
Yeah, that's true.
So in the perfect fit pants, it's going to be a very simple fitting. Karin was working on a pattern piece that has a yoke in the back.
And had the different kind of pockets. And you had to sort of put all these pieces together and then pretend they're
I was
one.
like basically sewing my pants while we were still fitting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This was so easy.
I made 2 pairs of, they're called the SOS pants. It's a pattern by Patterns for Pirates.
Those look really cute too.
Those are like glorified leggings, and they're real easy to make. And I made 1 pair in like stretchy denim, so they look like jeans. And that was my answer to, I want to make more jeans, but those were super easy. It's like,
those look like they had the same payoff in appearance as
they
jeans.
Did. They don't have a fly in the front, which I usually have a shirt on that covers the fly, so I didn't care. But they have pockets in the front and the back, not fake like legging pockets. They have actual pockets, so they sort of look like jeans, especially from the back because they have actual pockets, and they've got an elastic waistband, so they're super comfy.
Yeah, well, that's like my favorite pants pattern, other than this Palmer plush pattern. I really like it's a butterick pattern. Good luck, everybody, figuring out which patterns. I'll come better prepared next time. But it's a butterick pattern with like a cute top and a cute tunic, and then fantastic pants with real pockets, no back pockets, but and an elastic waist, and I love them. They're made out of stable knit, and I just love them.
I made a black pair and a faux, like jeans, stretchy jeans pair, so they sort of look like jeans, and they're super comfy, and they're very easy to make. I don't think I finished any knitting things. I did sew a lot. And I made the dress that I talked about last month.
It looked amazing.
It's very comfy, and I want to make another one.
It looked very good.
Thank you. Did I show you the picture outtakes from when Claire took my picture? I'll show them to you later.
Yes. We need to see that.
What have you finished, Karin?
Well, it must be the month for sewing, because I feel like I've done a lot of sewing myself. I feel like I've finished stuff. Oh, I started test knit, and I'm almost done with that, but I finished half of it because it's for Noriko Ho on Ravelry. She's Nori Chan, and she's got this really, really cute tank that is easily adaptable that's going to be coming up pretty soon, and it uses 2 strands of fingering weight, so you can mix and gradiate and everything. And you were saying how satisfying it is to go stash. I mean, the entire thing is stash that had been repurposed a couple times before. You know, sometimes a project just has to be redone until you finally find.
Sometimes it just doesn't stick.
It may take a couple patterns for it to be a happy place.
Yeah.
That is its journey.
but I think I finished the asymmetric tee. Because that's class sample, and I've enjoyed wearing it a few times in between. Like I take it home on a Sunday, and I try to bring it back so that others. So because that's a class that's coming up. I sewed. I made plans in April for stuff for me made May, but I really sewed it in May. And by the end of the May, I'm wearing.
I was going to say, what is the adorable thing you're wearing?
This is from Helen's Closet, and she's one of those indie not pattern dyers, whatever. I'm mixing things. Pattern writers, and she has a nice range of patterns. Her patterns go from size 0 to size 30, and they're really well written. And so this is a York pinafore. So think about, it's like if overalls were a dress. And she gives you this, you can have like a center pouch kind of type pocket, or these have 2 really great big pockets. And I took it to where Disneyland, I made it, it's so easy. I made it just in a couple hours.
It also is kind of aprony, but like in the best possible way. Like it looks super cute.
Yep.
It's one of those, and she tells you, it's written for a woman of this height and this bust size. But if you are a bigger cup, this is how you adjust it. And so I did that. I went ahead and adjusted it, and I did add a little bit. Sometimes I don't like pinafores that cut you off right in the middle of your boob. So I did add a little bit more. I might add a little bit more to that.
It doesn't look awkward as it is.
Yeah, why?
Because when it shifts, you know what? It shifts a little bit, but it might be a little, when I take...
You need to take the, like, now you know you don't need the...
Because if you brought it out farther, I think it would just stick out the sides.
Yeah.
Unless you put a dart in or something.
I think I made it. So I made an adjustment that I don't believe I needed, because there's plenty of room in the bust, even though I'm a bigger cup. So the next one I make, which I got fabric for today, same kind of stretch denim, but that one is in like a warm sky blue color, and I think that one I'm not going to make those adjustments. It gives you the option of a really deep.
Like a U-neck
or a higher shallow one. I actually opted for the space in between, and so if I just do it as the pattern is written, because I was sort of in between. I was between a 20 and a 22, and so I went for the 22, and I really didn't need to. So my next one won't have any of those adjustments, but it's super comfortable. And my mother-in-law probably thinks I slept in my clothes because I wore it both days at Disneyland, because it's just
whatever.
That would also be great in linen.
Oh, and that's the thing. She says you can do it in denim, you can do it in linen, or if you want it more drapey, do a light rayon or something like that.
I don't know if I like it as much in something drapey.
I don't want it too drapey. But they give you options.
Sure.
And there's all kinds of steps on how to make it fit you.
I think I might need to make one. So one of my friends on Instagram said, I'm making this next. And I was like, that's cute. But then I didn't think twice about it. And then I saw you wearing yours. I was like, that looks really cute. I'm not sure if I would wear it. I don't know. It's really cute though.
To me, it's like, it's because
what's the name of the pattern? The York pinafore?
This is called the York pinafore. I've got that pattern, and I've also got the Yanta overalls.
Okay.
Which the overalls can be pants or they can be shorts. I haven't started those because I just want to make another one of these pinafores. Because I think I'm going to live.
It looks pretty simple too. Like two pieces and some pockets.
2 pieces and some pockets. Exactly it. I did the, because I have a stretch denim. It probably doesn't have to be stretched, but I just like the comfort. Exactly. And because it's denim, I have my stitching is showing as a pale yellow, give that traditional look. Other than that, feels like I finished something else. Oh, I made a bag. I made a really cool back,
that
slide.
Was very cool.
Yeah. So I did a custom order for a friend of mine who is taking it's a young couple. They have their firstborn child, and she's, I think, a little over a year old, and they're taking her to her first or second Comic-Con, but they're going to something like that up in Canada.
Oh, cool.
And so she wanted a really nice backpack that was comfortable, that would, but was also on point for where they're going. And we did a Deadpool inspired backpack. So I did if you see pictures of Deadpool, and he's got like the red and black or charcoalish kind of costume, not costume, suit. Thank you. And
Work uniform.
That too.
really, but the sides I did with this faux leather that was this charcoaly color, and then I love grunge fabric by Moda. They come in so many different colors, and there's really no wrong ones. And I made it waterproofed. I waterproofed it with an Odie coat, which is kind of a beast to sew with. I thought maybe a Teflon, because when you coat Odie coat, it makes it it's just like, think about layers of glue that they harden, and it gives it like a rubbery surface. But trying to get that into your sewing machine, there's
wrestling a little bit.
Oh yeah, I had gloves. I had my quilting gloves to try to get that thing in there. I made sure I had a fresh needle to go through there, and changed my needle after that. But yeah, it was. But it turned out cool. I had gunmetal. I made sure that it was the Park Sling backpack by So Sweetness at Sarah Lawson. I made 2 of them now, but that one in particular, it turned out pretty awesome. I would just want to make more of those, because it was not hard to make.
Cool.
But it's easier each time, because that's your second one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
I might make a smaller version of that with some more. I've got extra faux leather. And I want to put piping on the next one, because I want to put piping on everything.
So I'm going to make some more Mary Poppins bags, that style of carpet bag, and I'm going to put piping on them. Jazz it up.
Good, because I just bought like a big roll, 144 yards.
Piping, but is it like the cording? Or?
Cording,
Nice.
Cable cord, 5/32 of an inch, whatever that means.
Okay.
Okay.
I hate piping.
I bought like ready-made stuff. Some decorator stuff that's like big and loud.
Yeah.
I have this orange that I'm going to put an aqua piping with, and then some like more calm things too.
So
what is, you've already talked about what you finished? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we finished that segment.
Well, yes, we finished a segment in the podcast. Add that to the list.
So
that one's off.
We're recording this on May 23rd. You will hear it the first week of June, which means that Me Made May will be over for you when you hear it. But we are currently in the end of Me Made May. We have a little over a week left.
A lot of things could happen in the next 8 days.
That is very true. Today's almost over.
Yeah. And I'm done with today. I'm like, maybe there's some things I could do. So, no, I'm done.
So I wanted to do a little wrap up. We talked about what our goals were last month, and maybe touch back on them if we learned anything this month, or if we accomplished any of our goals, or if we gave up on our goals, or whatever.
Well, I think I was reflecting on that on the way here, that goals are, to make you reach a little further, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes if you don't reach them, it's okay if you grew.
You still reached a little.
Way. Yeah. So reach for the
stars.
Reach for the moon and land among the stars.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Something like that. Mary Poppins had a whole different one, but I'm just not going to quote that. Okay. Same sentiment, though. So I had a goal that I was going to make a capsule wardrobe that would take me through the basic, there's basically 20 work days in a month. Mm-hmm. The never-ending month of May has 23, it appears. 22 if you're lucky enough to have Memorial Day off for sure. So I didn't accomplish that yet. There's 8 days left.
That's true.
But this month I have been trying to wear something I made every day. Mm-hmm. Didn't do that today. I was going to put my earrings in this morning and I forgot. But I have...
Because jewelry and accessories do count.
Yes. Well, I have
made rules.
Something. I have almost every day worn something that I made, but if my outfit didn't allow me to wear one of the pieces of clothing, I made an effort to wear a piece of jewelry that I made, which I love making jewelry, but I don't wear it very often because it feels fussy sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I've been breaking out some necklaces that I haven't had in a long time, or I made... we did a make and take on a Thursday stitch night that was chainmail earrings, and I've been wearing those a lot.
And
Katie and
people-
Karin
I
had
wore
their
mine
first go at jewelry, or not first go at jewelry
It
making.
was my
but-
first go at jewelry making.
and maybe first chainmail for
First chainmail
Karin. Yeah.
jewelry.
So that
was
was
cool.
fun. So I have been meeting that idea of wearing something I made every day. I had the hope that I would like catalog that on my outfit a day Instagram, but I have cataloged nothing. And I still want to make that capsule wardrobe, and I've made some moves towards it with those simple new look tops I made, and I made a couple of pairs of the perfect fit pants. So by the end of the month, I would really like to have most of that capsule together, and I would like to catch up on the Sew Your View, at least catch up with the May one.
Okay.
So I have not attained my goal, but I am still working on it, and I appreciated that Me Made May reminded me to integrate the things I made.
Yeah. Did you have a goal?
I had a 3-part-ish goal. I was going to wear something I made every day, which
You do that a lot already, though.
I kind of wear my stuff all year long. But because of May was so much cooler, I really felt like it gave me an opportunity to expand how many items I could wear within the month. But I have skirts that I make. I live in some of the pants that I've made, and it was nice because I could integrate some sweaters and if you count bags, then I'm rocking it every day because I've got purses and backpacks that I make, which is really helpful. But I did not accomplish the goal. Didn't even come close to even starting the goal of going through unfinished projects and starting and doing that.
I'm going to open a Ziploc bag and it's not going to be quiet, so I'm just going to point it out now while I open it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that. Oh,
How much yarn?
She's ready to change
Just
color.
Anyway,
I
so
couldn't do it quietly.
I did not do that goal. And I never set the goal of posting it because I am selfie phobic. I can't tell you how many times I set something up, and like when we were at Disneyland, I was wearing one of my favorite shirts is by Gigi Made It. She's a person on YouTube, and she knits and crochet. No, she crochets. I think she does a little both. She has some designs in both, and I follow her a lot on Instagram. And I had cute outfits, but when it came time to take a selfie, I'm like, no, I can't do it.
See, I've only really
I'm
seen
so
her
phobic.
knit. She always knits in orange, like that's her.
Everything's
Yeah,
in orange.
that's her thing.
She has some crochet designs in orange. If you on Ravelry, she has a couple of things, and she has some really fun, big, chunky things. I think when it starts to get a little bit cooler in fall, I might want to teach a class on one of her big, ginormous crochet items because she's got some cute cowls and shawls and stuff.
Her feed is so fun because she is gorgeous and she commits to making things in orange. Like that is her.
That's her
That's
signature
her
color.
thing.
That's
It's
her-
not like
but it's
only
something
orange.
she loves in it, and she made me love orange. I didn't think I would because I thought I can't wear orange. That's not my color. You know, anybody can wear any
Depends on
color
the
they want.
shade.
It depends on the shade.
I also am a true believer in, like, if it makes you happy, then wear it, and I could give a crap if it looks good on me.
I'm not looking in the mirror anyway, so what do I care?
Exactly. And also,
But-
I've never, like, really, that I can think of, seen someone out and about and think, oh my god, that color looks awful on her. Like, I can't think of a person that I was like, you shouldn't be wearing that color.
What
I'm
kind of
sure some
person
people
says
recognize that,
You
but...
know,
No, I mean, just thinking it in my brain.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like I recognize on other people that they shouldn't wear colors.
it's not so much because I was going to make some snappy comment
Like,
of
that's an
well, I
unfortunate
think that all the time.
That's an unfortunate choice.
Yeah, no,
I do
I
see
don't.
I do see people wearing colors that I think that looks amazing on
That's
them.
exactly what I was
Yeah.
about to say. Is like I don't know that I notice it so much when they're wearing something that is unbecoming, but
When
if
they are
you-
rocking it,
yeah,
ooh.
if you look good in a color,
Yeah.
I am going to tell you,
Yeah.
because you need to hear it, and you notice when someone looks really good in something.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes it's not actually the right color for them, even still, but they.
But
love
you
what
have the
they're wearing.
attitude that they're
Yeah.
wearing it and they enjoy it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Everything Mirabella puts on.
She has the
As far
confidence.
as Mime made goals, it's a mixed bag. it's a sort of a success, and maybe not on the one goal, but overall, I think if the goal was to consciously think about these handcrafted items and how I can, and wearing them with consciousness, not just throwing something on. I did make consciously make more choices towards things I made versus, I mean, I have store-bought tees, but not a lot that necessarily fit me anymore. Or, I mean, I don't shop that often, so I wear what I wear until I can't even Goodwill it because it's no good anymore. You know, I don't want to get...
This is a side note, sorry.
Yeah.
If you're culling clothing, even if you think it's trash, you should donate it to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
Because they have better recycling options than if you just threw it away in your garbage.
Oh, yeah. If it's still...
That's just a fun fact for everybody
if it's still wearable, I always donate it.
Even if it's not wearable. If
Really?
it's got a big hole or something in it and you're going to throw it away, they have better structure, or what's the word? Infrastructure for recycling those things than you would as
Going at landfill.
just putting it in the trash can.
Oh,
so donate it, maybe not your dirty chonies, but like donate, your ripped t-shirt or whatever, and
It's
have them throw it away.
You
I
understand.
don't donate
I
dirty
wear it.
chonies, but I throw underwear and stuff in there too because of exactly what you're saying. And also diversify your thrift stores that you give to and really think about the charities, because like some are not the charities they seem to be.
Okay.
That is a PSA.
Do your research.
Well,
But Katie is 1,000 times right, because there's a whole
Because they throw out so
Afterlife?
much stuff.
yeah.
and there's a whole afterlife of fabric in what's called like the rag trade that is insane.
James would always, when he was at work, send me pictures of like the crazy rags that they had that they would get from like Goodwill. They'll just chop it up and turn it into rags that they use in like industry. So he found like a Ninja Turtle t-shirt. He found like this little Hello Kitty thing. It was like, so if he finds an interesting rag, he always sends me a picture of it.
Any Hanes.
Yeah, probably.
Fruit of the
That's where your
loom.
dirty chonies end up. Maybe just in like an incinerator or something. I don't know.
And did it again to the inside. I'm sorry. The Clintons did too, I think. Because my mom was like
I can tell.
freaking out one time that like the Clintons had on one of their tax receipts that they donated, like that was on the list of donated items.
Underwear?
Underwear.
That's funny.
Whether or not that's true, please like fact check me, Snopes it, whatever.
And even if it's not true, it's funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Make it a meme.
Make it a meme. The Clintons did it, so I can too.
I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's a rule to live your life by. I might think twice before following that advice.
Yeah, I will not be putting that on a t-shirt.
That'd be a really funny t-shirt, though.
I'm putting it on a t-shirt. I'm wearing it to Christmas.
Oh my god.
And there's in small print underneath, draw your own conclusions.
No, just that's it. All right. So, anyways, Karin, how do you feel about the end of Me Made May? We have 8 days. Things could change rapidly in 8 days.
Things could change, except I've already started planning for the next things.
Okay, cool.
Well, I do like the idea of crafting things, and it did not just about the things that I know May is not about going out and getting stuff to make, but I did also think about the people I'm supporting.
Mm-hmm.
I intentionally picked patterns that were not necessarily the big pattern houses. I picked things that would benefit the indie pattern writer and people that are very size inclusive, and because I'm a person who needs size inclusion, and there's nothing wrong with that. And actually, it makes me as a designer, it made me put some more thought into maybe going back in some of my old pattern sizes that had that went up and included some extra large, but not enough be in the plus size range. And it made me think about going back and revamping and adding some sizes.
I've seen designers doing that lately
regrading
too.
that, because so that everybody can, I want my pattern to look nice on everybody.
My goal for Me Made May was just to wear at least one thing that I made every day, and to
you document
post, to document it on Instagram, which I have done. I took one weekend off, and there was one day that I made the call that my purse counted because I didn't feel like doing laundry that day, and I tagged. I posted my Instagram thing and I said I'm calling it that my purse counts today, and I tagged Noodlehead, who's the pattern designer for that bag, and she was like, that totally counts. So I was like, if she thinks it's okay. But but for the most part, I sort of also been doing like little mini challenges for myself by the week, whereas the first week I was just sort of getting into the groove of it, and then the next week I implemented I want to wear 2 things I made every day.
Ooh,
and also by cataloging what I wear, I've learned that my uniform is jeans, shirt, cardigan every single day. I always, especially for this month, because it's like you could take off your cardigan and put it on, but I always have a cardigan. And so
you need one in Ventura.
But sometimes you had a tee, sometimes you had a long shirt, sometimes it was a tank.
Yeah, so I was trying to do 2 things every day. And then this last week, I was trying to implement more knitted garments because I hadn't been doing that really. And I wore a shawl on Sunday, and I wore my Sunset Highway on Tuesday. And then I was going to wear my Edie shirt that I knit a year or 2 ago.
That's right. That's made, the Edie was out of a linen blend?
It's like cotton wool or something.
It was
United. Yeah, I think it's cotton wool.
Yes, it is. I designed a sweater in that. I forgot about that.
So I pulled that out to wear, but it needed to be reblocked, so I washed it and reblocked it, and I'll wear that probably this weekend.
Is that the olive?
Yeah. And then I also want to wear
that was.
I want to wear my V-back tee before May is done, but that also needs to be washed and reblocked because it's just sort of, I've worn it a bunch and it just could use a refreshing. So I'll probably do that this weekend is block it. So but I've been trying to do not just wear sewn things because I found that to be pretty easy. It's like a pair of pants that I've made. Or
the weather is like allowing for it right now.
That's why I'm like, I might as well take advantage of the fact that it's been so gloomy. And I wore a sweater all day on Tuesday and I didn't even get that hot, which was surprising.
And actually, it made me feel really good when I pulled out some of my knits because I'm like, wow, I've knit this enough that I now need to launder it.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that great?
It's like, wow, okay, that's something a lot of times I knit something and I'm like, maybe I'll wear it. I mean, our weather just, maybe if we get to wear 1 or 2 weeks of sweater weather. So
sweater weather.
I don't agree.
No,
but I get super hot at my age. Okay, I'm not.
But I'm in a different stage of life than you.
You are, and I get way too hot to wear things for very long.
Katie, like you should just kind of always have a cardigan with you.
But I also do, like, this month I wear a cardigan every day, but I also get warm. It's like if I'm sitting in my office, I'm probably not wearing my cardigan unless I'm outside or, whatever. But I don't wear my knitted sweaters that often because I just get hot.
I wear them to work, and I've got a couple of cubbies that are getting fuller and fuller.
I have to say,
because I forget to take them home.
It's not so much that the weather allows, but it is the circumstances of my day.
Yeah.
Because when it gets to about 50 degrees at night in the fall, late fall, early winter, in my office, it is too... The days are warm enough right now that the office warms up eventually, but like if it gets below 50 and then it doesn't get very warm during the day, my office is freezing.
Yeah.
Freezing. So I feel like I could wear...
Is that because the type of offices, they have to keep the bodies cold?
No, Karin, that's in a different space. That was a fair supposition. However, the refrigerators
It's not
elsewhere.
A freezer in there?
No. It's that it's a building built in the 1920s.
That's like, it's like going to church on Sunday. We have a very old building.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's either freezing or it's really hot in there. Okay. Most of the time it's freezing.
Well, those
so
are
it's
my
like
two choices.
bring a cardigan or a shawl.
Yep. Thankfully, it is more cold most of the
Yes.
time than an oven. But in the
slightly
summer,
off topic, but it's a burning question in my head. Did you ever see that reality show that was based upon a mortuary?
Yes, and nobody ever remembers it.
That was so fun.
My one new coworker is
I have
the
no
only
idea what you're
person
talking
I've
about.
asked. So it was A&E. It was when reality TV was very new.
Yes.
Like maybe the only other thing
And this was like a family business.
Maybe the only other thing was like Real World. Like it was that early.
Yeah.
And it was a family
Mortuary
funeral
business.
home. I don't know if it was all the way back east, but it was like somewhere back east or Midwest.
See, I kept thinking it was like Arizona, whatever.
No, I don't think so. But anyway,
Midwest,
it's been a long time. I don't remember what it's
That
called.
was really
I'm
fascinating.
sure it's also one
I was
Google
going to say,
away.
now I'm going to Google it.
But
Reality
everybody I
mortuary
asked
show.
like that I work with or
that's
around,
fun.
nobody ever remembers.
Of
But
course I remember.
I
Something-
kept thinking that it was such a like invasion of people's privacy, and how did they ever get people to agree to
Family Plots,
that? I think that's
I
it.
think
yes.
that
May
was it.
2006.
Yes.
There you go.
2006.
A&E Network.
And
It was in Poway.
Poway. Well, that's in
Poway.
California.
That's
Yeah.
in California.
That's like San Diego, right?
I think so.
Oh,
We don't know.
Huh.
Midwest, whatever.
Well-
They didn't do a lot of exterior,
No.
but I kind of got into like
I
there were
really
certain
enjoyed it.
people.
It's riveting.
There were certain people that there was one or two people that there was their job to greet and meet, and I thought the way they were with the people that were grieving was actually very thoughtful.
I'm sure you
It
had
was
to
just the
agree to be on the show.
I'm sure you did, and it was in the early. I can't believe it's only 2006.
that was 13
But I was
years
still
ago. It was
living
a while.
at my mom's house because I remember watching it
Mm-hmm.
in her house. So I guess
Anyway.
I mean I felt like it was like early 90s, but I guess not.
Okay,
I
then.
wonder when the writer's strike was. I don't remember because
I don't
that's
know.
when like reality TV like exploded.
Because
Right.
there was no writing, except there's a lot of writing. We won't go into
There's a lot of
different kinds of
story-
writing.
There's
This
a lot of
is not the
story
time to
editing.
go into air quotes around reality
Well,
TV.
I knew a girl who I dearly love. If I reconnected with her, it would make me very happy. Who was a story editor on The Bachelor.
Oh, fascinating.
She had some good stories.
I was just talking. Sorry.
No, I was just saying they could get around it because it wasn't, but it definitely gets herded
Yeah.
in a certain way.
I was talking to someone yesterday who was on the first season of Ink Masters
I
as
love
an artist.
that show.
And he was saying that it was like so incredibly fake you couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah,
And like the writers and producers would tell him like, if you don't start causing drama, they're gonna vote you out regardless of if you're a good
Yeah.
tattoo artist. You
Yeah.
have to be exciting to watch, and he got voted out because apparently he wasn't
Yeah.
exciting enough
See,
to watch.
I mean, that's another thing. Like, if you go on Project Runway and you're not dynamic, you're not going to make it to the
Right.
end, no matter what you're making.
Right.
You can be medium dynamic and make it pretty far, but you better start jazzing it up.
Hey,
Hey.
House Hunters.
You love that
They
show.
don't sign people until after they've closed escrow.
Oh, of course.
Well, because you got to know what house they bought.
Well-
That's the most important part of the show, to me.
Okay, and so the most awkward part is that, and you always know the one that they bought was the one that did not have furniture, because
that's
they just barely
interesting.
moved in. The ones with furniture are usually family, friends, and yeah, so you know the comments they make, and it's like, okay, these
They
people
used to be family friends.
these people are volunteering their time, taking and letting their house be shown in whatever state, hearing it being criticized, and if they're told that they have to bring drama, it's like,
Wow.
and then the crew they don't get paid for being on the show. I don't know the what is the point of being on the show?
Well, so Kevin and I got invited to be on a reality show shortly after we
That
got
would be
married.
fun.
It was after 2009 because we were in our house.
Because you were
So
not
it'd been a
with
couple
your
of
parents
years.
and
Yeah, well, I had a house, so
Oh,
an apartment house. So, it was a wedding do-over reality show.
That's
It
fascinating.
was like
Interesting.
Who the f nominated us for this?
Yeah. Who
We
was
had a-
like, wow, their
We had a
wedding
pretty
sucked.
fun wedding, guys.
I was
you had a great wedding.
in my cousin Claire's wedding, and when they got married, their wedding was filmed for a reality show that never came to be.
Oh.
But
Really?
it was like a planning your wedding show. And I remember, and they had like a camera crew there and everything on the day of the wedding. And so there's like all this footage of me as a bridesmaid
Oh.
from a couple of years ago. But it was like they crafted this whole story about how she wanted to build a like faux flower wall like Kim Kardashian had at her wedding, and that was like the one thing she wanted. And it was like, Claire is
Are you
not a
kidding
diva,
me?
and I'm sure her
I
and Marshall
can't
just
even imagine.
couldn't sell it. But The whole thing was filmed, and I remember it being such a pain in the butt because
ever be a bridezilla.
No, I know. She's like the most easygoing person ever. She'd be like, "That's
obviously
fine."
She's a terrible actress.
Exactly.
Too. I'm sorry, Claire. I think you're delightful.
It was such a pain because it was like you had to
It's
wait
a
for
compliment.
filming, and it was like they only filmed the wedding. They didn't film the reception. But it was. I always forget that happened. I'm like, somewhere there's footage of your wedding, and I think they got paid for it.
Oh,
but
So
Cool.
that's
weird.
2 shows that you've been filmed for.
But only one
apparently,
aired.
yeah.
So I was filling out the application for this show and telling the story of what could I amp. I mean, there were plenty of things that happen in every wedding.
Mm-hmm.
What could I amp up to like really win a spot on this show?
Uh-huh.
And as I was writing, I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah, why would you do
Our
it?
wedding was great, good or bad, like the good things and the bad things. We had a really fun party. The things that happened well. The things that didn't, c'est la vie.
It's a wedding.
That's that. We're married forever now, so so I decided I would not want to be a party of dramatizing something important in my life, even if we got another party.
And you got paid for it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that was
suppose
all.
it depends on how much you got paid for.
Yeah, I don't know if there was going to be compensation. I think it was just throwing the wedding again.
Well, we got picked to try out for Wipeout.
Yeah,
But I feel really sorry for my husband because I'm the most boring person on camera.
Aww.
Okay, you the audition in front of the camera, 10 minutes. The filling out of the non-disclosure, an hour and a half.
Oh God.
My mom was almost on Wheel of Fortune when she was young. She like went to the thing and like they did like all these puzzles and she had to like, do all these tests and then she didn't make it through. But she was this close to being on Wheel of Fortune.
Just recently, and this could be incorrect, I heard that Wheel of Fortune, like, you'll play the game and play, but you may never air.
Something like that.
And then you don't win the prizes.
Oh, sad.
If you like,
If they don't put you on TV?
you played, but you didn't scream and yell enough, then you don't win the prizes. That's
It's hard to
insane.
get on that show because they have the dads and grads, audition, and Jim and Ian, when he was graduating college or high school, they went and auditioned, and it's incredibly hard to get on. So you just feel the pressure because they pair you up with two, like, because it was the two of them with 2 other pairs, and you go out to one of the Indian casinos out in San Bernardino area, and so it's a long drive out there, and then they're like, you feel the pressure. You actually are playing Wheel of Fortune, and they're like, when it's your turn, when it's not your turn, you know it all, right? You know everything. But as soon as it's your turn, you go,
performance anxiety.
Yeah.
I want a Z. No, why did I say that? They were like, they won the first round, and then they were like, ugh. They're like, we should have had. It should have been mom and grads. Should have been mom and grads.
I think this is a good.
I think you're wrong, Pat. I always wanted to be Vanna White when I was a kid. She was so cool.
Well, you're gonna have to wait a long time.
I know.
She's not giving that spot up.
I would watch. I remember watching, like when I was little. I remember watching it on TV, and I would walk back and forth in front of the TV, like she walks back and forth in front of the thing to push all the little letters.
Gosh, glamorous gal.
I
Yep.
wish they
She
had
was the
filmed
best.
that. I would love to see that.
I loved her. I wanted that job. I wanted to flip.
She still
that was
has
before she just had to touch it and she had to flip the letters. That was so
She
She
satisfying.
still has that job.
I know, she's the best.
That's amazing.
They were interviewing her about her dressing room and like how they did something to specialize it so that her kids could come to work with her.
How cool.
Because I mean, it's been her whole professional
Yeah,
career.
she's been there forever.
And she's a pretty great lady. I think she does a lot for charity.
She makes good yarn too.
Yeah, just great colors.
Mm-hmm.
Great colors. As far as acrylics go,
Yep.
Good on you, Vanna.
Yep. We stand Vanna.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay, so we have a special announcement for our next podcast episode.
I was just thinking about that. And I can't remember what it was
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to be.
Wait.
Well,
I wrote it down.
I didn't write it down. Okay, Ann, tell us.
I remember.
Yay.
Okay.
Because halfway through I was
So-
thinking, what am I supposed to say?
So we're hitting our 12th episode.
There you go.
Next time.
This is episode
And-
11, so next one will be our 1-year podiversary.
So we would like.
See, it is a word. It is a thing.
Yeah.
So we would like to solicit you, dear darlings, to really this time for reals, we've asked in the past and we've gotten some cool responses, but not like a volume of responses. We've gotten some good responses. We would love you to ask us anything.
I would like to do like an AMA only episode, just a Q&A. We want to answer your questions.
We're envisioning, and we'll have this here at the studio sooner than later, which is a like drop your topic or question drop your question in the jar and we will address it. We should empty this red vines.
That would be perfect
and
for that.
Eat them all right now.
Oh, sure.
Gluten-free, right?
No, they're not.
Oh.
Anne and I have to
Isn't
eat
that
that whole
stupid?
bucket of red vines.
So, I mean, if you're not going to participate
you know, I don't really like red vines.
What?
So you have to eat that whole thing of red vines.
You're allergic to red vines?
No, I don't like them.
Okay, so red vines were like the token food.
I know, and I never had them.
And I bought them on a whim. I mean, I love them. They are delicious.
Okay,
and
right
I know
now,
other people love them.
drop and give me 20.
20
red vines.
20 red
Okay, well,
vines.
let me demonstrate real quick how it is
Chug,
that
chug,
I could
chug.
quickly eat a lot of red vines. So I'm taking one red vine and I'm tying it in
This
one
is not
knot,
off the rails. What are we talking about?
and then I'm going to eat it after I tell you about what we're doing.
Chubby bunnies. No, that's with marshmallows.
Those are that's a very dangerous game, and I feel upset that you would put me into such peril. So
Really? Because that looks kind of dangerous.
I'm not going to empty them today.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're going to have some kind of container to receive your questions and literally ask us anything. Like, sometimes I get questions in life and I know that they're coming, that they are absolutely not fiber related.
Yeah, it could be anything.
And I welcome them because I like those tests of knowledge.
I talk about knitting and fiber all day.
Yeah.
And I like to talk about myself.
So literally ask us anything. So we're going to do an AUA.
We reserve the right maybe to not answer.
Yeah.
So
If you
email or...
And if you send an email, we will copy it on our little paper and make sure it gets into whatever container.
But if you're in the
Red vine
studio
or not.
between now and next time we record, we will hassle you for
Why
questions.
can't she talk, Anne? Because there's red vine in her mouth. Okay.
My mom taught me not to talk with food in my mouth.
That hasn't stopped us much.
So anyway.
Yeah, so
Yes.
please send in your
Yes,
questions
yes.
or topics or whatever you want to say. Even
have
if
a
it's
whole
just
month.
like a comment that you want us to read on air or something, we could
Ooh,
probably do that
Mom,
too.
I like that.
Or, shout outs.
Karen, your hair's been looking really good lately. Like, bot love anonymous.
There you go.
Okay, what's mine?
Okay, compliment me now. So yeah, send us your comments, questions, snide remarks maybe.
Oh, please, yes.
By next
Actually,
month.
we like sarcasm is welcome. Actually, well, but you have to let me know for sure because I can't read what's sarcastic or not. And Anne loves that about me. I do.
If you have any questions on anything we talked about in this episode, drop us a line, send us an email, and ask. And make sure you follow us on Instagram or visit our website for all our classes and all that good stuff. And our individual Instagram accounts, I'm at Kaity Creates.
Anland22.
Knit Spinner 805.
And our email address is stringsandthingsinfo@gmail.com if you want to send a question or whatever. And I think that is it for today.
Yeah.
Keep it kind. Not like I need to tell you all that, but keep it kind.
Yeah, sure.
You can be kind and sarcastic, I think.
I don't think anybody that listens to this would send us rude, nasty emails.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
I'm sure they don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be said.
We'll answer your questions next month.
Bye. Bye.